Wow, I'm live. Oh my goodness, I have not done a live in such a long time. It feels a little foreign to be here again, but I'll just start off by saying, there we go. My name is Brittany Rose Green, and I basically help support women in finding their flow, finding ease through feminine embodiment practices, finding balance in their relationships, by helping them, delegate, not have to take it all on all the time. Basically, the topic that we're talking about today, which is why women need to feel supported in order to thrive. And so I thought this was like an important thing or conversation I wanted to have, because especially as I have been developing this new iteration of like how I'm presenting to the world, like how my business is actually showing up now. I'll tell you a little bit of a background. Like, my background is in marriage and family therapy, and I have been working in this field of relationships for the last, 15 years now, it feels like. And I have worked in almost every area: trauma, depression, anxiety, addiction, eating disorders, relationships, narcissism. And then as I built my business, I really started to focus a lot on helping people rebuild stronger foundations for their relationship life, because so many people that I saw come into my office as a therapist, they were just struggling so much with personal identity, feeling chosen, choosing partners who didn't know how to truly love them or support them. And it was all this cycle, this reoccurring kind of cycle that just kept happening and happening. And I know that a lot of this comes from, childhood foundational beliefs, and we all have them. And I'm sure if you've been following me for a while, or if you're kind of in this healing space, then you understand just how important, identifying your childhood trauma is and healing it. And inner child healing work is really powerful and impactful and necessary, especially when you're trying to evolve and grow beyond what it is that maybe right now is keeping you stuck. But one thing I will say, especially considering the topic I wanted to bring up today, is the fact that as women specifically, we need to feel supported in order to thrive. And there's multiple reasons for this. Before I get into this topic a little further, I want to let you know about Feminine Riches, which is my free Facebook group. I'm going to be hosting a workshop at the end of this month, February 28th. I haven't decided the time yet, but I'm thinking around noon Eastern Standard Time, all about the feminine, and helping you understand just the basic one-on-one understanding of the feminine. And I would love to have you over there. So if that's something that you're interested in, then comment below Feminine Riches under this video, or shoot me a DM and I'll send you the link directly. Again, it's a free group, and it's kind of like being in my living room. It's like, well, you're technically in my house now, but being inside Feminine Riches is like high vibe community, women supporting each other, and just feeling, honestly, me transmitting some of the energy that I have. There we go. Okay. So again, if you have any questions about that, just let me know. So let's get into this topic of why women need to feel supported in order to thrive. And women need to feel supported in order to thrive because, most importantly, as women, especially of this modern day and age, we are being called into multiple factors. We're being called to enact and engage in our masculine energy, which is doing energy, leading energy, like trailblazing energy. It's very pointed and directed. And when we are in this phase of constantly doing and having to take the leadership and the charge, how easy is it for you to sit in your softness when you're constantly having to do everything? So as women, it can be so painful when we don't feel supported because we have to do it all. We're called to not only be the strong ones for everyone, the responsible one for everyone, but we're also called to try to be feminine, try to be soft, and it just doesn't feel natural, it just doesn't feel normal, especially if you're kind of stuck in this cycle of like you don't feel supported. So when you're not supported, specifically by the masculine construct, the masculine counterpart, honestly, even your own masculine, where you know that it's safe for you to take a break, where you know that it is safe for you to delegate tasks to other people and they will actually get them done. When you don't feel safe to do that, then it's really hard to thrive because you can't be in your feminine essence. You're not really going to take a break. You're not really going to relax. You're not really going to just like have a moment to process and digest everything that you've been cultivating and creating and leading and doing. And so this is just such an important component to understanding why the feminine energy is so important and why choosing the right friendships and the right circles are so important. When you're under supported, you are going to be this is honestly when you're under supported, this is what creates disharmony in the body. This is what creates negative thought patterns. This is what creates obviously like just always taking charge, always taking leadership. And it can often feel too much. It's too much of a burden. So what I find is that this belief system is so deeply rooted. Most people who feel under-supported by their masculine counterpart probably felt under-supported as children. So if you're feeling under-supported as a child and you've developed this belief that people don't like to support me, then now you are living out a very independent sort of life, which oftentimes what I've seen happens really hardens the heart. When you don't feel like people support you and you're giving it all you've got and you're burnt out, burning the candles at all ends, like eventually you're going to get burned out. Eventually you're just going to you're suffering at that point. You're not really living a life that is fully enveloped in magic or fully free. You're bound by all the sacrifice. And I see a lot of times those who feel, especially women who feel like they have to be the one in charge all the time. They have to be the ones who are always taking the leadership role or always have to do everything for themselves, for their families, for sometimes their partners, their husbands. They have so much resentment that's built up. And they don't know how to let go of it. And then they wonder why their relationships are suffering. They wonder why they're having a hard time connecting with others. They wonder why they have a hard time connecting with other women. And all of this goes back to feeling under-supported and neglecting that part of yourself, or being neglected, honestly, first by probably parents or caregivers, or even maybe inner circles of friends. And then as you age, you just develop this hardened shell that suggests that maybe nobody really wants to support me. Maybe I'm not worthy of being supported. Maybe no one really likes me the way or knows how to support me the way that I know how to support them. So then you transfer this energy into being an ultimate caregiver, an ultimate giver, an ultimate provider. You're doing everything for everybody all the time. You do not allow others to take on any responsibility when it comes to sharing in your life. And then you wonder why you feel lonely. You wonder why you can't find anyone who gets you. Well, after building up such a tolerance for taking on all the responsibility, how can anyone, and you don't really know how to delegate it anymore, and you don't really know how to release the reins, how are you supposed to, what I'm trying to say is it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult to give up the power, because at some point that you taking on all that responsibility is you taking on some level of control, perceived control over your life, because you probably felt really out of control when you were a kid. So again, we need to be supported as women, because as we have developed this new I don't know, this modern way of living as women in our society where we're actually really expected to do it all, have a really thriving career, be incredible mothers, make sure the home looks great, have the most beautiful home, the most well-decorated home, be a trad wife, making the bread and the sourdough and then also taking care of and doting on your husband. Like, that's a lot of responsibility for women. And I see so many women who settle for like bare minimum men because they are so used to taking on the reins. They love being needed because that's how they fill their cup. But at the same time, it doesn't fill it enough to where the resentment doesn't still build up, So we need support, because when we are supported, we can drop into our feminine energy, and our feminine energy thrives off of freedom, thrives off of being able to create, thrives off of sitting in stillness and being able to connect with God and connect with the universe, thrives on the unknown and the void, which can be really, really scary for somebody who needs to take control all the time, for someone who feels like they're so under supported that they just have to control all the variables. So the feminine is pretty much your ticket to shifting this energy for yourself. And I suggest that if you can't find a way to feel supported by maybe a partner or a good friend who happens to be a masculine component in your life or whatever, start with yourself, the aspect of you that is masculine, that is the doing energy, that is the energy that is always taking charge and taking lead, the one who's built the structures, the one that's built the business, the one who's become the entrepreneur or the professional or whatever it is. Start there, start trusting that version of you first. And then I would say take it even a step further and really start trusting the masculine that is spirit, that is the universe, that is God. Because if you can learn to trust your masculine and the masculine that is of the universe, right? The all-knowing, all-loving masculine that wants to support you, then not only will you see magic happen in your life, not only will things just completely, expand in ways that you can't even imagine, that you won't even have to do anything for, because things will just flow to you, because that's what the feminine is. She just receives. When we feel under-supported as women, we don't really know how to receive because we're too busy controlling all the variables and we have our hands closed because all we know how to do is give. So you have to learn to receive as well, which is super important. And when you can learn to receive from the universe, when you can learn to receive from God, oh my gosh, the things that you receive are just wild. And so the way that I teach people to do this is I want you to track what you're receiving. Just tell yourself okay, I'm open to receiving from my masculine counterpart, which is inside of me. And I'm open to receiving from God. I'm open to receiving from the universe. And I'm going to make note of everything that I receive. And this is going to help build your tolerance to feel safe, being supported by things outside of you. And then you can translate that into being supported by your partners, being supported by friends, being supported by other people outside of you as well. Because when you do that, then you see just how many people want to actually take care of you. Another thing is the way that you want to take care of others, the intensity with which you want to give and share in giving to others. Can you imagine if that was received? Can you imagine if that was reciprocated? The love and the joy that you get from wanting to take care of other people. Could you imagine how much people want to do the same for you? And the truth is that most people do. But you're too busy taking on all the roles. So how are they supposed to do it for you if you're always doing it for them? So this is where we need to create a little bit of spaciousness to be supported. This is where we need to create a little spaciousness to receive. And creating spaciousness looks like not always doing all the time. If there's a task that you need done, share it with somebody and then let them take care of it the way that they need to take care of it on their terms. Because I feel like most of us who have a really hard time delegating tasks, it's because we don't like the way that other people do it. But if you delegate a task, you can't control how they get it done. You just need to control the way that you try to micromanage it. All you need to do is delegate the task and like release. And however they choose to show up and however they choose to do it, you need to accept it. And if it's not to your standards, then you share what you would like next time. It doesn't have to be this, oh, I'll just take it over and I'll just do it myself, because that's going back into your masculine energy. That's going back into you doing it all by yourself and you feeling under-supported. And so this is like a practice. This is something that you have to literally choose to try out every single day. It's almost like training a toddler or I have a new dog, so I'm looking at my dog right now. Training a new dog, you have to practice and set up very, very smaller expectations, because it's not going to be perfect in the beginning, because you have been holding on to all the cards, all the responsibility for so long. How could it be perfect? If you're the one who's always taking care of everything and you really never let anybody take care of you the way that you take care of them, how have they even learned how to care for you as properly? How have they even learned how to care for you the way that you want to be cared for? It's going to take time. And that's okay. And then if you learn over time by consciously doing this, you learn over time that the person I'm with, or the person that I care about, or the friendship that I'm in, they really don't even hear me when I tell them that this is what I need or how they can adjust. And I'm calm and I'm present, and I just let them know, and I'm appreciative of what they could do. But then I tell them what I would love or prefer next time, and they still don't listen. Well, then it's time to cut them out. That's like letting you know that those are not meant to be. You've evolved past that layer of support, and you're ready to receive at a higher capacity now. You're ready to go to the next step. You're ready to go to the next friendship, the next partnership. And I think that this can be really scary, because again, when you're used to taking control, when you're used to being the responsible one, you're used to controlling all the variables. And a lot of those variables mean don't drop the boat, don't drop the friends, keep everything status quo. Like, you're juggling everything all on your shoulders. And so when you're ready to evolve and be supported, sometimes people that you thought were your closest inner circle aren't actually that close to you, because now that you're no longer taking on all the roles, all the responsibilities, and they don't really have the ability to give back to you in the way that you've been giving, it's an unequally yoked friendship. It's an unequally yoked relationship. Heck, sometimes even in your career this happens. Actually, a lot of time in your career this happens. It's unequally yoked in your careers, in your professional life. And so it means that it's time for you to evolve and move on to the next chapter. And that gets to be a really beautiful thing, but we're so used to change being negative. And especially if you suffered from trauma as a child, change can be really, really scary. Again, remember, the feminine likes to live in the void. She likes to play in the unknown. She likes to rest there too. And so that can be really challenging emotionally whenever you are used to, or you have this belief that people don't like to support you. So my invitation to you today is to play with the universe. Ask the universe to show you, ask God to show you ways that He wants to support you, that the universe wants to support you. And then drop into your feminine and rest in knowing that something's going to show up and you're not going to try to control the variables. You're just going to sit in it, and you're just going to try to receive whatever you get. And I want you to make note of everything that you receive, whether it's a compliment, or somebody holding the door open for you, or somebody brings you a coffee or some dinner, or you get invited out somewhere, things that start to fill up your cup. Just take note of it. And that's how you're going to strengthen your ability to tolerate being supported after years, decades, a lifetime of being under-supported, and believing that that is the only way of living life. So again, hopefully this met you where it needed to meet you today. And if you're watching the replay or whatever, I just am so grateful that you are here on my Instagram page. And if you have not already joined Feminine Riches over on Facebook, again, let me know in the comments and I will send you the link. I'm going to be hosting a workshop at the end of the month. I think it's Friday, February 28th, all about feminine energy. It's going to be feminine energy 101. 101. So just the basics, and it's really a mixture of education and a little bit of experiential, and then also a lot of Q&A, because I want you to just ask me all of your questions all about it, so we can make it really clear and really easy for you to understand, because you deserve to live a balanced life. You deserve to have balance in your relationships, in your career, in your ability to receive and give. It should feel equal. And that's why I love this work. That's why I kind of shifted the way that I talk about what I do now. Like, relationships are just a component to the whole thing. The true thing is learning how to give and receive. And that requires, especially as strong women who are modern women, living in this age where we're supposed to do everything, and we are the cornerstone of the family these days. We don't really know how to receive the way that we used to. So that's what I'm teaching now. And I'm grateful for you. All right, so let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon.